I'm Joellen Burton. I work as an accountant, and I went vegan in 2017. I had been vegetarian for the 8 years before that, and then 2017, my older son was 3. I had been vegetarian for the 8 years before that, since 2009. And I went vegan mostly because it was the right thing to do. At that point, I had gathered all of the information for the past 8 years prior to that. And I had tried to go vegan before that, but only lasted about a year. And then I went back to vegetarian. And I think what was different in 2017 was I had a 3-year-old, and I knew all of the reasons why everybody should be vegan. But at that point, I basically didn't want to be a hypocrite, because I had this kid who was watching me all the time, and knowing it was the right thing to do. That was when I finally said, I'm just going to go vegan, and I'm going to raise him vegan too, because I know all the information, and it's time to just, live what I preach.
Okay, so in summary,
that makes sense.
Yeah. So in summary, in 2008,
9,
you went vegetarian.
Yes, that was also when I started dating my husband, and he was vegetarian.
Oh, okay.
But it was pure coincidence that I went vegetarian and started dating him, but he had been vegetarian for many years prior to that. I went vegetarian really just for health reasons. I just kind of wanted to see if maybe I'd lose some weight, or maybe like I would feel better, but then after I went vegetarian, I started listening to podcasts. I listened to Colleen Patrick Goudreau's podcast at the time, which was called Vegetarian Food for Thought. I listened to that, and I learned all about the animal agriculture industry. And I knew then that vegetarian was not enough. You really should go vegan because of how they treat the animals in factory farms, etc.
Is this the first time you went vegan?
So that's the first time I went vegetarian. Okay. I tried to go vegan. John and I started dating that year, 2009, and we did go vegan together, but it only lasted about a year. And then I think both of us just kind of got lazy, and we fell off the wagon, and we went back to being vegetarian.
Well, that's interesting. That would be insightful to know. You said you got lazy. Tell us more about that. I'm curious, because you did it for ethical reasons, right?
Yeah. Well, at first I did it for health reasons, but then learning about animal agriculture, I realized I'm never going to go back to eating meat, at least. I wanted to stay vegetarian for ethical reasons. And at that point, after not doing it for a while, meat kind of grossed me out, and I just didn't want it. But I still was pretty addicted to cheese and ice cream. So
you went vegetarian for health reasons, and then you learned about the ethics, went vegan, but then you fell off the bandwagon and went back to vegetarian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was 2011.
And did you just, around that time in 2011, when you went back to vegetarian, was it that you were letting your ethical guard down, or it was just lazy and you didn't really know the ethical part about the vegetarianism at that point? Because vegetarian, it might be a little harder for people to understand how it's not,
Right.
ethical.
I guess I told myself that being vegetarian was enough, and I could still enjoy all of the dairy products I liked. And I kind of just pushed that part down, that knowledge down, that I knew about the horrors of the dairy industry. And also at that time, I was a traveling opera singer, and there were a lot of social events, and there were a lot of after concert parties. I was alone a lot, and I mean both of those things. So there were parties, and I was alone a lot. And I remember just for a while, I just kind of didn't care for a little bit. I just said, no, I want the ice cream, or I want to eat this cheesy appetizer at a party, and I didn't really give it much thought. That was 2011 that I stopped being vegan and went back to vegetarian. And my husband did, my then fiance did too.
So I guess it's almost as if you were too busy with life to really be thinking about it, maybe, and too immersed in maybe yourself or something.
Yeah. I think I at that point I was pretty narcissistic. I was trying to make a living as a traveling opera singer. And I didn't really think about the ethics that much at the time. Socially, I was trying to be a little bit more acceptable. When I met new people, Like when I met, like sometimes I had to go to parties with these like opera donors, and I would have to kind of like schmooze with them a little bit, which is uncomfortable for me anyway. But I didn't want to have that weird thing as part of me.
It just goes to show how much the social component is a thing, you know, it really is helpful.
Yeah, and I think it kind of, you have to be pretty confident and at a good place in your life to decide, no, this is what I'm doing, this is who I am, and I'm not gonna, you know, shift from what I feel is right.
Yeah, Dr. Joel Fuhrman says you almost gotta be a leader.
Yeah, I think you do.
So then some time passed and you do come back to veganism. How did that happen?
Well, I got married. We actually had a vegan wedding, even though we were vegetarian at the time. That was in 2012. There's a restaurant called Blossom in New York, and our wedding was catered by the owners of that. It was at one of their previous restaurants that doesn't exist anymore. But we were just vegetarian. On our honeymoon, we were vegetarian. And then I had my first son in 2013. Had a normal, healthy vegetarian pregnancy. Yeah, we stayed vegetarian that whole time. It was perfectly natural and normal to raise a vegetarian kid. We live in an area where there's a lot of Hindus, and so there are already a lot of vegetarians around us. And then in 2017, my son was 4. I think something just kind of shifted inside, and I decided it's time to be vegan now. I knew all of the facts, I knew all of the ethics behind it. I think part of it was that he was starting to get cognizant of what we were eating and why. We've always raised him and wanted to be in a way that we wanted to be honest with him about almost everything. We knew the truth about what happens on dairy farms. We knew that the calves get stolen from their mom and get sold off to make veal. And we knew like these poor mama cows, what they go through. And it just, once you know it, I think I couldn't suppress that anymore. And we wanted to raise our kid and be honest with him about our food choices and what we know about the industry. And I just one day just decided I was going to be vegan. I was by myself for a few days. My husband had taken my older son on a trip, and I went vegan when they were gone. and so I was like, I'm just going to be vegan while they're gone, and that'll be fine.
It sounds like you tapped back into the internal reasons why you were vegan to begin with that first time and didn't have any distractions. You just kind of like got back to it.
Just got back to it. It
Cool.
really wasn't hard. Yeah. And I think, I also had some health issues going on. I was maybe 15 pounds heavier than I am now. And I had very recently had blood work done, and I was pre-diabetic. Yeah, that was 2017. And so, yeah, I think I kind of was at a loss. I wasn't sure what to do. I was like, that's weird. I'm very young. I was in my 30s. And I was like, I'm pre-diabetic. Like, I clearly have to make a drastic change here. And I knew that I wasn't gonna like go on a diet and actually, you know, stay that way for the rest of my life. But I was like, I know this vegan thing is healthy. Like, I need to try this again. So I did. And then by the next year when I got blood work done, I wasn't pre-diabetic anymore.
Nice. How did you know it was healthy?
Well, I think when we first went vegan back in 2010, that's also when my husband read The Starch Solution, and he read a couple of the Fuhrman books, and we started to learn the health aspects of being plant-based, whole foods plant-based. But like most people who read those books, you know that it's the right thing to do. You want to put it into practice, and it's really hard to actually make those lifestyle adjustments and make it happen. But I think, you know, getting a little bit older and having some actual health scares, then it's like, all right, it's time to be real here.
Yeah, it's hard to change. It's hard to endure the learning curve. But once you learn how to do this stuff, isn't it kind of easy once you know what to do?
It can be. I think it takes practice. Some people need to kind of do it gradually. For me, I was already vegetarian, and that was easy.
I mean, but like once you know what to do, it's easy, right? Legumes, grains, the food, like it.
Knowing what to eat is pretty easy because you know you've got your beans, your grains, your fruits and vegetables, your nuts and seeds. I enjoyed all those things. It has taken a while to find recipes I really liked and wanted to repeat them. Once I found like 2 or 3 recipes, it was fine. It was totally fine.
Yeah. So what's the hard part then?
The hard part. like most people would say, not having cheese. I'm pretty sure cheese is like the main thing. I think it's just the food cravings, the food addiction.
But once you start exploring alternatives, don't you kind of find more than enough other things to eat?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I was always a fan of Miyoko's. When I first tasted Miyoko's cheese, like, 10 years ago at least. It's delicious, and it was just fine. If you can't find anything to replace that cheesy texture, saltiness, like, you're not looking hard enough. There's really so much out there.
Or just do without it and just eat, without cheese.
Yeah, I know.
I do that literally.
Oh, I know. Absolutely. Like, once I just was like, I'm not having cheese. Like, let's just.
It's also kind of easy to make it, like with cashews, nutritional yeast, water, vinegar, or whatever.
Yeah, a little miso.
Yeah.
You can kind of like recreate the taste of it. And they're like, even now Trader Joe's has a shredded vegan cheese alternative. Pretty much every grocery store you go into is going to have something you can try. It's been a while since I've had cheese at this point, so I don't even remember what the appeal of it was. But no, I do love a good like cheese alternative like Miyoko's. I haven't tried that Rebel cheese, but I hear a lot about it.
I hadn't heard about that one yet. I'm not in the cheese loop, the mock cheese loop yet.
No.
So back where we were, they go out of town, you go back to being vegan, they come back and they just kind of follow suit?
Well, in a way, so John and Lionel came back to town. I said, oh, by the way, I've been vegan like the past week. And John's like, okay, cool, I'll be vegan too.
That's so profound.
I know. He's like, because we were kind of, we're very similar. We were kind of in the same place. We knew that we both should be vegan for health reasons, for ethical reasons, because we have a son who's watching our every move. Like, and I had had conversations with friends before that saying, I'm vegetarian, I kind of know I should be vegan now. Like, I've said that. So no, he came back to town. He said, okay, I'll try being vegan too. At that point, our son was still eating regular mac and cheese about once or twice a week. We didn't buy dairy milk at that point. We thought it was gross. So we gave him like soy milk and other things, other alternative milks.
So it was really just the mac and cheese thing?
It really was, yeah. And he was hard to feed, so there were a few things, not too many things he liked. For a little bit, we did still just get the mac and cheese. I think we tried the vegan mac and cheese, and he refused it at first. Now he eats it all the time. It's totally fine, and our youngest eats it too. But then that fall, so that was like summer, and then that fall, October, my husband and I took a trip up to a couple of animal sanctuaries in North Jersey. We went to Skylands with Mike, who runs it, and we went to Tamerlane. They had a Flocktoberfest, so just like a beer fest. We went to Skylands the one day and went to Tamerlane the next day, and my husband had a few beers, and they were asking for donations because they were trying to expand their animal sanctuary to another property. They said, we really want to do this. We just need some donations. And my husband, being like good and drunk, was like, yeah, let's give them $500. Like we have to help them with this. And I said something like, you want to help this animal sanctuary that rescues farm animals, but our kid at home is still not even vegan. So we're contributing to the suffering of these animals with our kid at home still eating mac and cheese. And he's like, yeah, that's true. It's time, we need to make him vegan. And with a 4-year-old, like, you make almost every food choice for them. So it really was us like imposing this on him at age 4. But that's like what parenting is. When you know something's right, that's what you do for them. That's what they do.
My son was about 6 when we went vegan, and really the only thing it was, he loved these like rolls you can get frozen that had something in them, egg or dairy or something. And he just loved those rolls, and my wife kept buying them even though we were vegan. And finally one day I just threw them out. I was like, we're not getting this anymore. He got so mad at me.
Yeah.
But now you have one that's vegan from conception. You didn't have to endure that, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. We were trying to have a baby from about 2016. And we were still vegetarian then. Didn't get pregnant at all that whole first year and a half. And then when we went vegan, and I really cleaned it up. Like we cut oil out, a lot of processed foods I wasn't eating. We really went whole foods plant-based for a while, and that's like about a year later is when we finally got pregnant with our second child. So I really do think the veganism helped. Yeah, because I had pre-diabetes when I was trying to get pregnant with the second one. for like a year and a half. And then going vegan, I think, really helped kind of fix my system a little bit.
That reminds me that there's been several interviews where the woman wasn't able to get pregnant until she went vegan. There was even times she couldn't get pregnant and was told she would never be able to get pregnant. And then she goes vegan and has 3 kids in a row. Yeah, it's been multiple stories like that. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And I heard Dr. Greger say that women, when they go vegan, they might ovulate better.
I don't know. I do think it fixes a lot of your hormonal issues. It can. I used to have really bad skin. I used to have terrible acne, like through like high school, college. I had just terrible acne. And I had heard somewhere that acne on your chin and your cheeks is usually related to hormonal issues. So I definitely had that when I was younger. So John and I went to these sanctuaries. We said we need to be vegan. Our kid needs to be vegan. Let's go. So we went home. Lionel had been staying with my parents. We brought him home and we said, guess what? We have a new thing that our family's going to be doing. We're going to be giving up all dairy and all eggs, but we're not going to have meat, and we're going to be vegan. And we said, the only thing that you will probably need to give up is the mac and cheese that you have at dinner once or twice a week. And he cried. And he cried. And he cried that he wasn't going to have his mac and cheese. And we said, well, what do you want instead of mac and cheese on the days that you would normally have it? I think that was like a Wednesday night thing, was making him mac and cheese. And he said, well, how about popcorn? Can I have popcorn? I said, yep, let's make you popcorn. So every Wednesday night we just like made a whole bag of microwave popcorn, and that's what he had for a few months probably.
So now the vegan pregnancy, it was easier to get pregnant, you think, because you went vegan and cleaned up your diet. Now, how was the pregnancy? How did that go?
Oh my gosh, it was amazing. It was completely smooth sailing. I gained probably 20 pounds, perfectly healthy amount. The other thing was I had a smooth pregnancy with Lionel as well, but I ended up with a C-section at the end of the pregnancy. He was a little on the large size, but I guess some events happened during the birth and he ended up with a C-section. But my goal with my second one was to have a VBAC, to have a vaginal birth after cesarean. And so I ended up doing that. I hired midwives, I hired a doula. I wanted to make it as natural as possible and ended up with a very smooth, beautiful VBAC with him. But yeah, I gained just the right amount of weight. I had like the gestational diabetes test, and that was totally fine. I ate mostly healthy, but I had occasional chocolate and salt and vinegar chips. That was a big thing. Then pickles. I ate a lot of pickles. But no, it was lovely. I didn't really have many cravings. I ate a lot of vegetables and fruits, and there were really no scares at all.
Did you have to increase your protein intake or get like nuanced in that kind of way?
No, I mean,
you just ate, right?
I'm sure I had some tofu every couple days, or I ate some nuts.
Did the doctors ever say, oh, you better be careful, or give you like the impression that you might be doing something risky, or were they supportive?
They were supportive, yeah. It was a midwifery practice, and I think I told the lady, the older midwife, who actually ended up retiring like a couple years later, she ended up delivering Wesley. But I told her I was vegan, and I said, is there anything I should be concerned about, or should I meet with a nutritionist or something? And she said, no, I mean, you're probably fine. Just take a multivitamin or take a prenatal vitamin. And she goes, most babies are perfectly fine. Yeah. So she was not concerned at all.
And most pregnancies, omnivorous way of eating also supplement the prenatal vitamin too.
Yeah, most doctors recommend some sort of prenatal. Yeah, I just took I took a prenatal specifically for vegan moms. So I'm sure that helped. It had, instead of folic acid, it had folate.
Nice.
Which is supposed to be more natural and just better for you. But I also had a lot of vegetables, so I'm sure I didn't really need that anyway.
Yeah, a lot of greens.
A lot of greens, yeah, a lot of fruits.
Good job. And then now breastfeeding, did you do both of them that way, and especially the vegan one? Yeah. With Lionel, my first, I breastfed him for 10 months, and then I gave him formula for a couple months until he didn't need it anymore. That was mostly just for personal reasons. I was just kind of over it, and I wanted to stop, but I didn't have any, at that point, I didn't have any qualms about giving him dairy-based formula. I thought that's fine. That was way back, 2014. With Wesley, I knew that I
was not going to be giving him any formula. If I had needed to, I certainly would have given him a non-dairy formula. But no, I breastfed him from the start, and I breastfed him more than 2 years because I really just wanted to go as long as I could and give him the best start possible. And I did have like a personal goal that I didn't want to give him any formula. I said I just want it to be me for as long as he needs it. I did have to cut him off though. I think a lot of kids will go longer than 2 years. And I think at about 2 years I said, okay, it's time. It's time. I just wanted to stop, so that's fine. But no, he breastfed beautifully and grew. He grew just fine. Yeah, he grew right at a good rate.
What was weaning like? Did you wean him into any particular foods that you'd like to share with us or mention that?
Like when he was 6 months, I think I tried vegetables first. I think I did like blended peas at first. I think I did that, and then we moved on to avocado. Definitely some vegetables and fruits.
Like sweet potato maybe?
We did some sweet potato, yep. And then as he was getting a little more adventurous, I did some curries, like some lentil curries with him with coconut milk. And he did like those for a while. These days, he's pretty picky. Like, he's 5 now, so he likes things very bland and plain. But when he was first eating, when he was a baby, he would eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, and just anything soft I would make, I would just like give him a chunk of it or a bowl of it, and he would eat it. He would eat it just fine, yeah.
Now, how do you go about maybe introducing the ethical component? Do you do anything to do that, like books, movies, or documentaries? Like you said, you went to an animal sanctuary. Do you take them to places like that to kind of instill the ethical part?
Yeah, we talk about it quite a bit. We've talked about it pretty much with Wesley since he was cognizant of what he was eating. I think you kind of have to talk about it quite a bit because once they go to birthday parties and there are things that are around them that you don't want them eating, you have to say, this is the reason that we're not going to let you have the cake, the birthday cake, or the cheese pizza. It seems like most birthday parties have pizza. We've said, this is the reason that we're not going to let you have the pizza, but we brought this for you instead. And when he was little, that looked like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, or sometimes we would make a homemade cupcake and bring that to birthday parties, and that was fine. And we had like a really easy recipe for like 1 or 2 cupcakes, and we would just bring that, and they would eat that.
Cool.
And they liked having a little treat, even if it wasn't like the cake. We do talk about it, like with Lionel when we were switching him when he was 4. We had plenty of conversations about it. We got a couple books. We got a Ruby Roth book called Why We Don't Eat Animals, something like that. This is Why We Don't Eat Animals. So we read that, and then there was another book I got called Herb the Vegetarian Dragon. That's still a well-loved book in our house. My husband still reads that with funny voices, like at least once a week. So the kids both love that one. And then we've also made it a habit to go and visit an animal sanctuary, like at least once a year. We'll bring both kids to an animal sanctuary. And they like petting the cows and the goats, and usually we go to Tamerlane. And Lionel, my oldest, fell in love with this huge steer at Tamerlane called Diego. And so whenever we visit, he'll go and say hi to Diego. So that's kind of nice.
Nice. Did they have to endure any kind of challenges at school? The teachers, are they supportive? Friends at school? Cool?
It's been okay, yeah. I mean, the only, like, we've deliberately chosen, like for preschool, for example, we stayed with our same preschool because it was one of those schools where you sent the food in every day. There are some schools where they insist on catering the food every day, and it's really hard to get a choice for a vegan lunch. Like, they'll usually have a vegetarian option, but vegan is hard to come by. We had them in a private preschool. It was a Montessori preschool, and we always sent their lunch in every day, and it was totally fine. If there ever was a project that involved food, like a cooking class, the teacher was wonderful, and she would always send home, or she would send us an email saying, these are the ingredients in the cooking class. Are all of these okay for your child to have? And if something wasn't, like for example, if she was making a grilled cheese sandwich, like that was their cooking class, I would send in vegan cheese for Wesley to use. So that worked out fine. When they got to elementary school, I did send a box of like vegan cookies for the teacher to keep in a cabinet And so anytime there was a birthday party where a child brought in cupcakes or something, I would have her take a cookie out and give it to my son. But honestly, things have changed since then, and parents in the past few years have complained that there's like just too much sugar at school. There's like too many treats. So I think now they don't even have birthday parties at school. So I haven't had to worry about that.
Cool.
I still, like, Wesley will start kindergarten this year, and I'll probably still send like a box of some treat for the teacher to keep, just in case there is something that they're giving this. Like if she gives like some sort of food prize for something, like at least she's got something that he can have. I've always sent their lunches with them. I've very rarely had to buy lunch. They do have an option. They have like an allergy-friendly menu plan or meal plan for kids who have allergies. And I can get a vegan meal at school from that. But normally we just send their lunch with them, and it's totally fine.
Does he miss a lot of school days because he gets sick a lot or anything like that?
No, my kids very rarely get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, very rarely.
Do you feel like they get sick less or more than other kids, or about the same?
It's hard to tell. I mean, every kid gets a fever every now and then. They're not completely immune. But I think my kids, like, they beat it really fast. If they get something, they're better the next couple days. But no, I think my older son missed maybe one day last year, and I think that was due to a trip we went on. My little one, I can't remember the last time he was sick. It's rare.
Cool.
It is rare.
Now, are they on supplements at this age?
I do give a multivitamin, especially the little one, because he is picky, and there's some days that he just wants rice and some fruit. Like, he really is picky, and it passes. I mean, my older son was picky for a while too. Like now, my 12-year-old eats everything we give him. But yeah, I give I think it's a multi geared towards vegan kids. And then I give them a B12 once a week. And then I don't know, I do things like I'll put flaxseed in their oatmeal, so at least they're getting some healthy omegas. But I don't think about it that much, honestly. I think most parents supplement to a degree, no matter what.
I've been doing a year-long weekly series on the topic of raising children vegan. Every week this year, all the way up until now and moving forward, I've been releasing a new interview on this topic, a different parent. Sometimes it's a doctor speaking on it. And usually if it's a doctor, they raise their kids this way as well. Before this year, I knew I was going to be doing this at some point because I feel like this is one of the most important subjects to tackle. Like to me, the most three important things are raising children vegan, building community, and growing food. That's how we are going to revolutionize the world in the future and, make the world a better place, essentially. So I've been anticipating this for a while. Right at, beginning of the year, I started with Dr. Esser, and every week after that, it's been a video on this topic. 12 days ago, one of the carnivore doctors, he started talking about it. Like, not what I'm doing, but raising children carnivore. Isn't that crazy?
That sounds really dangerous.
Yeah. And I almost feel like they're probably doing it in response to what I'm doing, because there's been times where they've taken some of these people have taken some of my content and recycled it for their own malicious purposes, I can't help but wonder if they're doing this to kind of prove something in response to what I'm doing or whatever. But, I do have a fear, like, for those children, that they might have some sort of dysbiosis that's going to be hard to overcome.
Yeah, because you need fruits and vegetables. Like, no doctor would argue that you need lots of plants in your life.
Yeah.
For the fiber, for the antioxidants, the micronutrients. I mean, you can't argue that your body thrives on plants.
Yeah, and in the long run, it's going to reduce risk for chronic disease.
Yeah. I know.
What are the main reasons that you do this?
To be annoying and different and difficult. That's
like the main reasons you're raising your children vegan. I mean, you kind of hit on them. You want to be consistent. You've hit on some of those reasons, but in a nutshell, what are the main reasons that you feel like it's important to raise your children this way?
I think it's just so important to practice what you preach. If you know something's wrong, you don't do it. That's like the most important thing you're teaching your kid, is to do the right thing. And if you know that animal agriculture is wreaking havoc on the world and it's treating animals horribly, and you know exactly what's happening to those baby calves who get taken away from their moms and then dragged off to go be veal, there's just not a question. I could not have my children consume these foods that I know are just so terrible for the animals, for your body, for the planet. It's just the right thing to do. Like, there was no question about it.
If they could prove, well, you could raise them carnivore just as well, is it ever just as well?
No. Well, carnivore?
Yeah.
No.
I mean,
You can't live, I mean, okay, it's terrible for your body. You can't live without fiber. You have to have fiber in order to keep things moving in your body.
Let's just say that somehow they prove that those kids do okay.
That those kids do okay. Well, the truth is, people can't be eating that much meat. The world can't sustain us all eating carnivore. And that's such a place of privilege to raise your kid eating that way, because you can't even try to do that in most of the world. People can't afford that. We can't possibly raise that much meat to sustain 8 billion people. I think it's selfish to raise your kids that way.
It's interesting you should bring that up. I'm going to a temple tomorrow where they've fed over 100,000 vegan meals to people that are impoverished or whatever. So I'm going to get some video of that for a project that I'm doing. And the reason why they're feeding them this way is because it's healthy and it's most affordable.
It's cheapest.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's so many reasons. I like to say in a nutshell, there's no reason to eat animals and every reason not to, you know. From the violent jobs to the atrocious living the animals have to endure, to the invasive concentrated animal feeding operations, of which there's over 200,000 in the US, that are toxic to surrounding communities, leading cause of pesticide-laden monocrops, deforestation, desertification, aquatic dead zones, species extinction, antibiotic-resistant bacteria, deadly pathogens, zoonotic diseases.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean? Like, there's just so many reasons.
Yeah.
Like, so what if they could raise their kids carnivore? What about all of those other reasons? And they still have to demonstrate that they can do it as healthfully in the long run, which they can't do. So do you feel like that this is the best way, what you're doing is the best way to raise your children?
In terms of sustainability of our earth, absolutely.
As far as their health?
As far as their health, absolutely. Yeah, I do. I really do. I really do. I just think about the way I ate growing up, the kind of junk food I ate, and how much meat and how much dairy. I was very overweight, like all through high school and college. I had terrible acne for years, and I went to dermatologists, and not a single one said, hey, maybe look at your diet, maybe try cutting out milk for a while and see what happens. Nobody said that to me. And that affected me. It affected my career. I was a professional opera singer, and I had that problem. It affected my self-confidence, just my ability to make new friends and talk to people. I was so embarrassed most of the time because my skin was bad and I was quite heavy. And I just think about how much I suffered because of what I ate. I really would love my kids to avoid a lot of those problems I had. I mean, and obviously, some of it's genetic. My children might at some point have some of the problems I had. But when I think about what I ate, I drank, milk at every meal. I had lots of cheese. I had lots of fast food, lots of hamburgers and chicken nuggets. And I don't know, in the 80s and 90s, people weren't really talking about how nutrition. I mean, they said things like you are what you eat. So, but that doesn't mean anything to a child. You don't know what that means. I'm not going to turn into a broccoli head if I eat broccoli, But it's so true. I think
anything that's coming from an animal is going to have a lot of fat. So, and that's 9 calories per gram, whereas protein and carbs is only 4. So you're getting a lot of calories that you're going to have to do something with. That right there, right out the gate, it's something a little more challenging. If we're in a culture where we're not moving as much, to burn that off or whatever. And then there's a zillion mechanistic reasons why theoretically there are disease promoting as well. But so if this is the healthiest way to raise your children, doesn't it seem logical then to infer that it should be the default way everybody should raise their
no,
children?
I think it should be the default. Just seeing how my kids have thrived, and I'm just one parent. I'm just one parent who just wants to have healthy kids, and I just want to see my kids do well. And I see how much they've thrived, how bright they both are, and how they're both athletically inclined, and they've always been like healthy height and weights. They've always been, taller than most other kids. My husband's tall too. And I also see, like with my older son, especially because he's 12, he's starting to get to the point where he's caring about nutrition, and he's caring about his appearance, and he's starting to know that what you eat really does affect how you perform at sports, how you feel during the day, and how quickly your brain works. And he's starting to see that link. Maybe it's because we've talked about it a lot, but yeah, he's way into nutrition, and he knows how to pick the right foods now. Every so often I'll have to remind him, like, maybe you shouldn't have a soda at 8 p.m. Like that might actually keep you, like the caffeine might actually keep you up tonight. Like, so every so often I'll be like, maybe cut down on the sugar, because I don't want you like having a sugar crash later on. But no, he makes the right food choices most of the time. Kids understand it. They really do.
Yeah, Nutrition Facts, so you ever follow them?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
They released a few videos recently also that I thought was pretty coincidental about raising children vegetarian or vegan. In one of those videos, they talked about the IQ, that they had a higher IQ, that vegetarian children, in these particular studies, they were vegetarian, and there was also some vegan studies they cited as well. So they ended up having higher IQs. But for some reason, the carnivore crowd seems to think that vegans have smaller brains.
Didn't someone just say that on a random interview, and then people just kind of went with it? Yeah. Like it wasn't even a proven thing. It was just like an offhand remark or something. Yeah. That's kind of silly.
Yeah, well, that's typically what the carnivore crowd seems to do. They don't have science. They just kind of feed off of each other's opinions. Like the one I was referencing earlier, he throughout that video that I've seen so far, it's hard to watch, but he's just like, tell me what you think in the comments. I want to know what it's all about what they think. There's no science. That's not science.
You can't just go by what you think or what you feel.
Yeah.
Like, and granted, like, I feel it's the right way to raise my kids this way, but I have done a lot of research. I've read a lot of books. I don't just, use Google to like answer every question. Like I've read a lot of doctor books. I don't quote science. I'm not one of those people, but I do know that kids can be perfectly healthy and thrive on this way of eating.
So is there any evidence that he's not intelligent?
No.
How's he doing performing in school?
My older son that got like almost all A+ last year. In every class he's in advanced math.
Nice.
Yeah, no, he's great. The little one is very bright.
Yeah. And he's a musician too, right?
Yeah, my older son plays drums. He plays in a couple of his school bands, and then he just joined his cross country team as well. So he's running.
Nice.
And he's pretty fast. He's good.
So he's artistic and athletic and
he does a lot.
Intelligent.
He does
and healthy.
And very healthy. Yeah, I know. I feel honestly a lot of this is genetic. A lot of this is just the way he is. My husband is also a very, very smart guy, and he does a lot of different things. So like he has a lot of hobbies in all different, like all around the spectrum of hobbies. And that's just kind of what he likes to do, is just try out new things and
keep
work
his brain
on them.
stimulated.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yeah, his brain always needs to be stimulated, and my older son is like that too. So I see that he kind of takes after him. But no, I feel very, very thankful that my kids are healthy and happy and bright.
Well, to finish on that, just find it pretty telling that the vegan movement has, more than any other way of eating, the best showcase of evidence. For example, we have the American College of Lifestyle Medicine, the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, Nutrition Facts, we have National Health Association, we have the Ornish program that's Medicare funded, we have True North, we have Hippocrates Wellness. We've got like an incredible platform of evidence, and I don't know of any other way of eating that has that. And the totality of evidence, scientifically speaking, is on our side. And we have the best anecdotes corroborated by that science. Even my channel alone has better anecdotes than any other way of eating does. I've got people down there that are lifelong, multi-generational, have been doing this since the 60s, 50s, 70s. It's just fun to kind of get that out there in case somebody's curious about like, well, why are these carnivore people talking junk? Well, they don't really have anything to back it up, you know. Like, so it's just
No, they really don't. But plus just the practicality of it. I mean, have you ever known anyone that's actually stayed carnivore for more than like a couple days? I mean, I tried Atkins like everyone else in high school, and I turned into a major B word after about 3 days, and I hated it, and it didn't last long. And pretty much everyone I knew tried it for a little bit, and then lost some weight, and then stopped and gained it all back. And like, I don't feel like it's sustainable, just from a pure pleasure basis. Like, no one wants to cut out carbohydrates for more than like a couple days.
Yeah, I mean, there is a little crowd that's been doing it for a handful of years. One of them's fallen off, like Saladino. It was making him sick, so he quit doing it. The other one of them started eating berries. He can't hide his bananas. Who knows what the others are doing? They flat out lie when they get debated. They get debunked, and then they just continue spreading the same lies that was already debunked. It's just so disturbing because so many people follow them because they're getting good news about their bad habits. But yeah, we can move on from. But I'm curious, like, you know, sometimes somebody might say, and maybe you've heard this, how do you respond to somebody saying, well, you're forcing your opinions on your kids?
I don't hear that because most of my friends are pretty respectful about what we do. Everyone teaches values to their children. That's part of parenting. That's what you do, is you teach the right thing to do to your kids. There's certain things that I'm not going to teach my kids to do, like don't steal, don't smoke, don't lie to people. Like those are values I'm also forcing onto my kids because you're teaching them it's not the right thing to do. I don't see any problem with it. I think raising kids this way is healthy. They're happy. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
What is an ideal day of eating?
So my older son, on a good healthy day, he would have some oatmeal made with some soy milk and a little flaxseed mixed in, and he has berries on top. I eat like a variation of that too. I do oatmeal with banana. He usually has some sort of like a falafel wrap. There's some frozen falafel at Costco, and I just air fry them and I put them in a whole wheat wrap, and I'll add some like shredded cabbage and carrots and hummus. And he has that, and he seems to like that. He'll have that at school. He'll have fruit, some kind of strawberries or apples or bananas, just whatever we have. He'll have some fruit. And then dinner might be like a curry. Like last night I made a black lentil curry just from like a YouTube recipe. There's this YouTube channel I like called Young Man Cooking, Yeung, and it's all really, really delicious recipes, all vegan. And so I made that. I made just like this black lentil curry with white rice, and I'll usually steam up some broccoli on the side just because my husband likes broccoli and my son will eat broccoli. The little one, usually if we have a curry with rice, he'll mostly just have rice. And then I'll set out some carrots and some cabbage next to him, and like tomatoes, and I'll usually make up some arbitrary number for the number of bites of vegetables he needs to eat. So like most days I'll be like, okay, you're 5, so you have to have 5 different vegetables. So he'll like take them and put them on his plate, and then I'll say, okay, like you have to eat your vegetables or else you can't have banana and ice cream. And then for dessert, I'll sometimes make banana and ice cream. So I'll just take frozen broken up banana chunks, put them in the food processor, and process them with some almond milk and some cocoa powder, and we have banana and ice cream. And the kids love that. I love that. That's a pretty typical day. My little one for lunch at school will have a sunflower butter and jelly sandwich and a couple different fruits. And he'll also have oatmeal in the morning. And then, also at night, he'll eat some tofu. Like if he really won't eat anything else, I'll just chop up some tofu, just straight out of the package, and put a little bit of soy sauce on top, and he'll eat that. He just eats that as is. So yeah, I mean, it's simple. The kids eat pretty simply. John and I can be a little bit more adventurous. Like if we go out, we'll get like some sort of wrap, like a barbecue tempeh wrap or something like that.
You got some nice restaurants. I went to
We
that
do.
veganized place and got that California burger. That was really good.
Yeah, we do. We have Veganized, we have Veggie Heaven. We have a lot of international people here, so there's plenty of Indian restaurants, there's plenty of Thai restaurants. So we do go out locally once in a while. Not very much because we don't love oily food. At home, we don't generally use oil. If we eat out, then we'll just kind of modify something to be vegan. There's a pizza restaurant just down the street from us, like a quarter mile away. It's called Jusal's, and the kids are happy to eat just a cheeseless pizza from there and some pasta with tomato sauce, and it's delicious. I usually will get a pizza with like broccoli and olives on it and no cheese. They don't have like a vegan cheese there, so we just eat it without. For a while, we did bring a little bag of vegan cheese and ask them to like melt it over it, but my older son said like he's fine without cheese at all, and he like kind of prefers it without, so he just eats a tomato pie.
Yeah.
And it's great.
Once you just do it a few times, it's just like, oh, it's no big deal.
It's really not, and it's so funny because I don't know if we've actually, converted anybody. I don't know if I have any friends that have gone vegan. I'm sure people cut down. I'm sure people cut down on their meat consumption because they know it's just not healthy. There's plenty of parents who don't want their kids having dairy, so they just, they replace it with soy milk or whatever. It's not even at the top of my mind most days. I just kind of eat what we eat, and the only time I have to really think about it is maybe if we go to a birthday party and I know there might not be any food for the kids. Yeah. So I'll ask the host in advance if they can provide anything, or if not, I'll just send something with my son. I have found that if I'm open with them and I say, my kid is vegan, he doesn't eat meat, dairy, or eggs, is there going to be something for him to eat? Like 9 times out of 10, they're like, oh yeah, we'll provide something for him. Yeah.
What about like family? You have support or any challenges there?
Not too many challenges. My mom is essentially vegan. She's not open about her personal journey with it, but I have a feeling when we went vegan, she mostly went vegan as well. Whenever the kids visit my parents, they always provide, soy milk and all of their vegan foods. My dad is not vegan or vegetarian because he, like, if we eat out at a restaurant, he'll usually get some kind of seafood or something that looks good to him. He just doesn't think about it much, but he's not really a cook. So my mom makes all of their meals at home, and so by default he mostly eats vegan, except for like if we're on vacation or something. My mother-in-law eats vegan when she's with us. I don't know about when she's not with us, but she's happy to be vegan when the kids are there. And then my father-in-law, he's stuck in his ways. He likes what he likes, but when he visits us, he will just eat what we eat by default. Yeah. And they haven't really said anything about disagreeing with what we're doing, and we're probably lucky because I'm sure some in-laws or some parents might not approve. But no, they've been supportive. But as far as like actually changing the way other people eat, like people are set in their ways, like we have family that are absolutely convinced that if they don't eat their yogurt every day, their bones are just going to fall apart and they'll get arthritis and osteoporosis, and which is not the case, but you can't change everyone's mind.
Yeah. What do you think about those cases where like they get news attention, oh, so-and-so was raising their kid vegan and the kid got sick, or they ended up getting arrested for whatever reason?
I've heard about that. I think almost all those cases, they were just starving their child. That's not, like, that's different. Like,
yeah. Has nothing to do with veganism.
Has nothing, yeah, people say vegan. That's the thing. If someone does get arrested because they starve their child, but they're not vegan, would you say, omnivorous parent accused of starving their child?
Exactly.
Like, no.
One year there was a vegan child that died. I think it was a virus or something. It was like an infant, and they went to the hospital. The doctor said, oh, everything's fine, but then everything wasn't fine the next day. The child died. That year, over 20,000 other children, over more than 20,000 infant mortalities that year. But nobody talked about those other 20,000 infant mortalities.
It's clickbait to say something like that. Yeah.
It's so isolating.
It can be, it can be a little bit isolating, but it's true.
No, I mean those events are isolated events.
Oh, they're isolated, yeah. But
But the funny thing is, like, it sounds like everybody's nice to you.
Not to my face. I don't know what people say behind my back, and I've told my kids this. I'm like, people might be criticized. Like, your friends' parents might say things about us behind our back. I don't care. The proof is in the pudding. Like, the kids are happy, healthy, and smart, and like, it's just silly to make judgments on our way of eating, our way of living. I don't think I'm delusional. I think we're doing just fine.
But there was like 1 or 2 people that were like, well, I don't know, I'm against, and this is kind of why I'm doing this content. They were like, I'm against vegans having kids because what if they grow up to not be vegan later?
Well, that can happen. I mean, Most kids rebel against something that their parents taught them. Yeah, that might happen. I'm not going to disown them if they make other choices. It's fine. As of now, I mean, both of them have said they want to be vegan for life. So I trust that at this point.
Yeah. I know lifelong vegans that are in their 70s, 50s and stuff like that. So,
yeah. They're out there. There's going to be more. Like in the next 20 years, we'll see a lot more adults that were raised this way.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure like by the time he gets to college, there's going to be a whole club of vegans. There's going to be people who are doing this. There's going to be a lot more options than we have. Someone said, maybe it was Paul Bashir recently, he said something like, evil won't last forever. Evil can't last forever. This is really the way we're moving. We have to move in this way if we want to be sustainable for generations in the future. We're not going to be able to feed everyone all of the meat and dairy that we're feeding them now. It's just not sustainable. This is the way the world is moving. And I have to be optimistic with that too, because it's not always easy to make these choices day after day. But I also want to raise my kids knowing like, you are the future. More people are going to be like you, because I want them to be positive about this too, and not just feel isolated. I want them to speak up to their friends more. They'll get more confident as they get older.
Do you have any last minute encouraging words?
For parents who aren't ready to raise their kids this way, just try it. I mean, it's amazing how adaptable kids are. You just have to just replace a couple things they like with something that's vegan. They're so resilient. We're like within a few days, they will be used to the new thing. It's really not hard. In terms of logistics, it's really not hard to raise your kid this way. Kids understand things, especially as they grow. Like they understand why this is right. They understand like what the animals have to go through if you just explain it in a kid-friendly way. There's really no negatives about this. Like there's nothing about what we're doing that I would not wish upon someone else. I love it, honestly. I love eating this way. I love raising the kids this way.
And when I first started releasing these interviews and editing them along the way, I noticed a pattern of people saying it's the best gift that they could give their children. Do you feel the same?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Even on the days that are a little harder, like if they go to a restaurant and it's hard to find something they enjoy, like those are so few and far between. I mean, the vast majority of meals are home. It's perfectly easy to put together healthy food. But no, I absolutely think this is a wonderful gift we're giving them, because they're walking the talk. When they know that this is the right thing to do and they're doing it, so they don't have to have any regrets growing up. Plus, I really hope that they are shielded from some of the health issues that I had when I was growing up. And I don't, knock on wood, obviously, but yeah, no, I think this is a great gift we're giving them. I think they're absolutely going to thank us as they get older.
I'm Lionel Burton.
How long you been vegan?
I've been vegan for 8 years.
Cool. And what were you before that?
I was vegetarian my whole life. So when I was born till when I was 4, I was vegetarian.
So that makes you how old?
I'm 12.
12, okay, cool. And how do you like it? Do you like being?
Yeah, it's great.
Oh, cool. What's great about it?
Well, I can help animals, and I go to protests every now and then. And I'm also helping the planet, and I'm just staying more healthy because I can recover from injuries faster when I'm vegan.
What kind of injuries?
I run, so sometimes I twist my ankle or something, so that can heal faster.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and your mom was saying you're pretty athletic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you feel like it's that you've gotten a vegan advantage for other reasons as well?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. All right. And then you're also a drummer, right?
Yeah, I play drums.
Yeah. So you're pretty talented, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And what about school? Do you feel like you're doing pretty good?
Yeah, doing great in school.
I heard you got honors or something last year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hear you've been to a couple sanctuaries.
Yeah, I like Tamerlane.
Okay, what do you like about it?
Well, it's the only place I've gone, but I love how there's a bunch of different animals. There's goose, there's pigs, there's cows, there's chickens, there's everything. And all the animals are so nice.
What are the most important reasons to be vegan?
Well, for me, I just love helping animals. It's not fair that they like get killed and like get tortured and like they got their eggs stolen and their milk stolen just for us to have. Like that's really why I'm vegan.
And when you go to the sanctuary, does it kind of help reinforce that?
Yeah, I love seeing like how the animals like live and hearing like the stories about how they like escaped from like different places where they're going to be killed and people rescued them.
And do you think you'll stay vegan your whole life?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool. So I heard you've been acknowledged by PETA.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Well, PETA gives out an award for advocate for animals for kids, and I won it this year.
And how did you win that?
Well, I sent in a video telling PETA like why I deserve it and like listing all the protests I've been to, and I got it.
What kind of protest?
I went to a Cube of Truth recently, which is where there's like 4 people who stand in a cube and shows videos of what happens to animals, and then people outside the cube argue like to random people about what's happening and why they should go vegan. I've also went to the Animal Liberation March, and I'm going to this year. And then I've also been to just like other protests like on the side of the road. There was like a bear hunt protest telling people to stop hunting bears, and there was a 4-H program at the Middlesex County Fair, so we protested that.
You're making me think of Shannon Blair. Do you know them?
No.
Vegan Evan?
No.
Okay. But you know some other vegans in the movement that are maybe your age about like Me Too and Nirvana?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. You know any others you want to acknowledge while you're on camera?
I know a few people. Nikira and Jessica, they're friends that are vegan.
What are some of your favorite things to eat?
Well, I love pasta. I also love tacos. Like I like black bean tacos, and then I add guacamole and salsa, and sometimes vegan cheese. And yeah, I love tacos and burritos. And then I also like pizza without cheese. And then sometimes I have olives on it, and sometimes I actually put the pasta on the pizza, and it's really good.
Do you feel like you're missing anything?
No.
Okay. How do you feel when you see other people eating animals?
I don't want it. Like they eat what they eat. Like I'm not jealous of them because like I'm happy that I'm saving animals.
Does it ever bother you that they're eating animals?
Yeah, it can be hard, but like at the same time, it takes time for people to go vegan. So you just have to be patient.
It's hard to be patient for me.
Yeah.
I guess because I'm so old.
Yeah.
So wow, you're really mature. Now, when you go to friends' houses or parties, how do you usually handle that if they're not vegan?
If they have like pizza or something, sometimes I get like pizza without any cheese. Most of the time I just have like other like snacks and stuff. And like I eat like dinner before or after, so it's usually not a problem.
Cool. And is everybody at school and that that isn't vegan, did they all respect you?
Yeah, they're fine. Sometimes they get a few comments of just like asking like why, and I just say because I like to help the animals, and they're like, okay, cool.
Do you think your friends are inspired by you or others?
I think so. Yeah. I don't know.
Have you ever discovered that maybe you've helped somebody?
Yeah, like especially at protests, like I've seen a lot of progress. Like especially at Cube of Truth, I can see more. Like a few weeks ago, my dad held a presentation at our church about going vegan for the environment, and a lot of people said that they were trying to reduce like meat and eggs and dairy.
So you've got some pretty awesome parents, huh?
Yeah.
What do you want to be when you grow up?
Well, my dad has a company. It helps affordable housing, so it gives like houses to family in need. And I'd like to work there and maybe like become the CEO eventually.
Oh, you're gonna take over your dad's job?
Yeah.
And what kind of skills would you have to have for that?
Well, I'd have to be a good leader, and I am a good leader. I like being the boss and bossing everyone around, and I like planning everything out and getting finding new solutions to problems.
I really appreciate your time, letting me interrogate you like this.
Yeah.
And I wish I lived by here. I could play some music with you and stuff.
Yeah.
I hear you're, I guess, in a couple different bands or something like that.
Yeah, I'm in a jazz band at school. I was in jazz band last year, maybe this year, and I'm in a school's wind symphony.
Okay. Are you looking for any kind of garage band opportunities?
Maybe.
All right. And then your parents play music too?
Yeah. My mom my mom and dad used to be opera singers, and then my dad plays guitar, bass, and drums.
Oh, so you get to jam with your dad?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet that's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Well, what's next? You got any events coming up, or anything you're looking forward
Well,
to?
I'm gonna go to the Animal Liberation March.
Where's
and
that
then-
at?
New York. Yeah, and then in a few weeks, I'm also gonna go to another Cube of Truth in Jersey City.
Yeah, that's Anonymous for the Voiceless.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. That's cool. I've been to a couple, but I haven't actually participated yet. Are you holding a TV, or do you talk to people outside of it?
Well, last time I held a TV for some of it, and then I shadowed someone else, so I kind of just listened to what they were saying.
I
It was
think that would
fun.
be a lot of fun, yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
it is.
That's cool that you enjoy those kind of things. Do you like to cook at all in the kitchen?
Yeah, I like to make pasta, and sometimes I make a tofu scramble, which is really good.
About that pita thing, what did you get out of that?
Well, I got a bunch of cookies. I don't know how much, but like a lot from like a bakery. And I got some like magazines and stuff and like a calendar. And I'm also gonna get an ice cream party for my whole school.
The whole school?
Yeah,
How many people?
think so.
How many people are in your school?
like 900.
what?
Yeah.
That's pretty epic. So they're all going to hear about pita in the process.
Yeah,
Wow, that's good.
yeah.
And what kind of ice cream is it?
Ice cream sandwiches.
All right, well, thanks for making me hungry. And well, I guess that's a wrap then, and I appreciate it. Big Fish 5. Thanks.
Yeah.